All right, on Game Lab number 25, we're still kind of working with the concept of a scoreboard, but we're going to ramp it up a little bit. All of the written instructions are here on the handout that is posted on Google Classroom, or will be soon, or will be when you're watching this movie or whatever. But I'm going to go over and demonstrate it on code.org, so I'll show you how this is all going to work. There will be code available on code.org for you to work with. It will say something like Scoreboard 2, like what you see right here, but I'm going to use this version of it called the movie demo file. All right, so this will look like what you have when you open yours up. So when I go to run this, let's see what we've got right now. You've got these red and green dots that are falling from the sky, and we're going to say that the green ones are good and the red ones are bad. All right, so this little alien is programmed to move sideways. He cannot move up and down. I didn't write any program that would make him move up and down, and there's no programming in there to make him move up and down. All they can do is go sideways with the left arrow and the right arrow. Now, we're going to set it up so that the goal of the game, if you can think of it like a game, the goal of the game is for the alien to catch green dots but avoid red dots. Red dots are bad. Green dots are good. So we're going to try and catch green dots and avoid red dots. But what we're going to do is set it up so, if you catch a green dot, you get a point. But if you get hit by a red dot, you lose a life. So we're keeping track of two things. The scoreboard has to be a little bit more involved here this time because it's going to be points and lives. Score and lives. All right, so let's go to work on the things that have to be done here. First of all, and I put on your copy of the code that you're going to have when you click on it from Google Classroom, there's comments in there. So like here at line 17, it tells you we got to create a couple of variables here, one for score and one for lives. Well, all right, so let's do that. Creating variables always looks like this. You use the var command, so I'm going to pull over two of them, var and var. And one of them is going to be for score, and that's going to start off as 0 because we don't have any points at the beginning. And the other one is going to be for lives, and you set that to whatever you really want. How many lives do you want to give your player at the start? 5 lives, 10 lives? You know, I'll just set it to 10 for mine, but you do whatever you want. You can make your own decision about that. Now you might look at the lines that are up here. There's already the little alien is called player. All right, that's what I named it up here. The good, those are green dots, right? So all this good, those are green dots. Okay. And all of this section here, bad, those are red dots. But that's what they're called. That's their name. Their name is just bad. All right. So now we have two variables that I just created here, and you're going to have to do that part, right? This is part of what you have to do in your version of the assignment. Create the variables for score and live. So take a look at that. Pause the movie if you want to. Look at that and see what I did. Boom. Okay. Now let's roll on down. Now the rest of it is way down here. And I put comments in here to kind of guide you along. And what I would do, the way I would do it, is add code right after the comments. That kind of keeps it organized here a little bit. So at line number 44, check to see if the player is touching the good dot. That's the green dot. If player is touching good. And if the player is touching good, then we want to increase our score by 1. But we also have to reset that good dot back up to the top. Okay. All right. Well, so here we go. This is an if. Check to see if the player is touching. All right, here it comes. Watch. So this is going to be if. I'll go to sprites, and we're looking for is touching, and it's player is touching. And what I'm going to work on first is it touching the green dot, the good dot? So I'm going to say good. If player is touching good. All right. So what happens if that's true? All right. Well, here's what's going to happen. First of all, I'm going to go to the var, and I'm stressing this a lot. What I want to do is increase the value of the score. Don't use a var command for that. We don't need that. We've already done that. We've already created the variable, so I don't need to create it again. All I'm going to do is update it. All right, so I'm just going to use this one that says x equals, and I'll bring it down here. And I'm going to say score equals score plus 1. All right, and I can click off of that. All right, so look at that. Look how that's done. We did it yesterday, right? If the player touches the green dot, called good, that's the name of the green dot. It's called good. So you get a point. Score equals score plus 1. Score just went up by 1. But that's not all I need to do here. The other thing I need to do, and you can see it here. In fact, copy and paste. Right? I need to, if it touches the green dot, I need to put that green dot back up at the top of the screen. So here's what I'm going to do. I mean, I could type all this again. I could create all of it again. But I'm going to take these 3 commands up here. You see how I'm marqueing here and taking those 3 up here. And I'm going to copy, Control C. And then I'll just make sure my cursor, my little black cursor is sitting down here, and I'll paste it. I think that saves a little time, doesn't it? All right, so I just increased my score by 1, and I reset the green dot back up to the top, and I gave it its velocity so it'll fall again. And you notice that the velocity that I gave it is a random number, right? So sometimes they fall fast and sometimes they fall slower, and you can play with those numbers if you wanted to. All right, so let's proceed on. Now down here we see it's on line 54. Now as you build the program, the things kind of change line numbers, but that's okay. Check to see if the player is touching bad. Did you touch a red dot? Did a red dot catch you? Did you hit a red dot? Okay, well, that's going to be a similar thing. I'll get an if block. Drop it in right here. Sprites. I'm going to use an is touching. If player is touching bad. That's the red dot. Shuffling papers here, sorry. Moving equipment here, sorry. Okay, if player is touching bad, what all happens? All right. Well, for one thing, I'm going to use this x equals thing again. And I want lives to change. Now, do you remember that back up at the beginning of the program, I created a variable for lives and I set it equal to 10? But let's think through, what do I want to have happen to lives? If the red dot touches the player, that's lives minus 1. You just lost a life. So look at that. I'm going to click off of it. Study it. Look at it. All that does is take the number of lives down by 1. Right? That's all it does. I just lost a life. I had 10. I just went to 9. You know, if the player touches the bad dot, my number of lives just decreased by 1. That's all that's for. Now, if that's true, if the player is touching the bad dot right up here, and again, the line numbers kind of shift as you work on the program, but at line 33, 34, 35, I want to take the bad dot and set it back up at the top of the screen, make the y value equal to 0. The x value, I'm going to make a random number, so it could be over on the left or over on the right. You never know. And also give it a velocity. I want it to fall, and I want it to have a random velocity because sometimes it could fall fast and sometimes it could fall slow. All right, so I'm going to take all of that, Control-C, copy, get my little black cursor down here, paste. All right, so I think I've got that. You know, if player touches bad, then the lives decrease by 1 and the red dot gets reset back up to the top. Good. Here's the last thing. Now I got to display it, right? And we ran into this in our previous program. I have to show the score and the lives. That has to be displayed on the screen. So that's going to be done with all those like text commands. So here we go. I'm going to go to the drawing drawer and I'm going to bring over a fill color. What color is my background on this? I'm going to run this first. It's light blue. Okay. So what do I want? Maybe dark blue. Oh, come on. Let's get in there. Dark blue. All right, cool. I'm going to bring over a text size. I think I'm going to want mine to be about 24. I'm going to make it 24. I'm going to bring over a text font. And I'm going to do mono space. You don't have to do the text font if you don't want. Now, watch. Here we go. I need 2 of these because I want to display the score and the lives. All right. Now, we're going to use the same trick we used yesterday. I'm going to go to the math drawer and I'm going to bring a plus block down here and drop that plus block right in there. And this is going to say, I want to capitalize that. And I can't not ever type. All right. In the first one, it has quotes. Remember that from our previous lesson. Score with quotes. That means that's exactly what that's going to say. This is going to say score without quotes. This, I think I'll go over about 10 and down about 30. That's a guess. I don't know for sure if I'm going to like it. We'll find out. All right, now I need another one of those. So I'm going to bring another. I could probably copy and paste, but oh well. I'm going to bring another text thing down here and another plus block and drop it in. Now watch. Yeah, I got it capitalized. Okay, so in the first one, it's going to have quotes around it because that's exactly what I wanted to say. Lives. This one is going to be the variable that I created for lives. I'm going to want it to be over 10, but I think I'm going to want it to be down about, I'm going to say 90. That's a guess. That's a total guess. I don't know if that's going to be in the right place or not. Total guess. We'll find out. Whew. All right. Time to run it and check it. I mean, that's the proof, right? So I'm going to run this. And every time I touch a green dot, you got to play your own game a little bit. If I touch a green dot, they ought to relocate back up to the top. And if I get hit by a red dot, I ought to lose a life. Is it working? Right? Is it working? And now we're not writing this program so that it really has any end. It's not going to end right now. Like if I run my lives here, I'll lose lives on purpose. I'll get hit by the red dot. I'm losing lives. Oh no. I'm trying to lose lives. Look what's going to happen. My lives are at -2, -3, -4, -5. We didn't put any programming in here to end the game yet. We haven't gotten to that yet. That's coming later. But this is working. Look, it's working. Look. Yeah, I might adjust one thing. I might hit reset, and I'm not sure I needed to go clear down to 90 here. Let's try 50. Let's try about 50, and I'm going to run that again. I like that scoreboard a little bit better. You see how my score and my lives are closer together on the screen. They're not as far apart as they were, right? So if you get it to work something like this, where if you catch a green dot, it should reset back up to the top and you get a point. If you get hit by a red dot, you lose a life, and the red dots also get reset back up to the top as well. And I showed you how to do that. I showed you the code, right? I showed it to you. And it's not ever going to end. It's not going to quit when lives get to 0, and it's not going to quit when the score gets to 20 or anything like that until we learn how to do that. And that's coming up. All right. This is it. This is a working copy. This would get a totally 100% A+ right here because it's working. It is your turn.